Top 10 ways Amber Heard is still trying to bring down Johnny Depp. Even after the jury ruled mostly in favor of Depp and awarded him $15 million in damages, it's clear that his ex-wife is not happy with the verdict and hopes to convince the world that they made the wrong decision. Hi, I'm your host Bridget Shields, and let's take a look at some of the ways Heard is still trying to drag down Depp's name through the mud. Number 10. Instagram post. Minutes after the verdict was announced, Heard rushed to Instagram and posted a statement declaring the reason she lost. Quote, "I'm heartbroken that the mountain of evidence still was not enough to stand up to the disproportionate power, influence, and sway of my ex-husband." She really doubled down on aligning herself with the Me Too movement, writing that she was disappointed in what this verdict means for women and called it a setback. Quote, "It sets back the clock to a time when women spoke up and could be publicly shamed and humiliated," and adding that it sets back the idea that violence against women should be taken seriously. The post was a pretty good way to ensure that the verdict of the trial looked like a defeat for all women, because Heard knows that to bring down Depp's reputation, she needs to conflate the case with larger issues like freedom of speech or the Me Too movement. Number 9. Shopping at TJ Maxx. At first, the TJ Maxx story seemed a little bit too strange to actually be true. Sure, there's nothing wrong with going on a discount shopping spree, but because it was so rare for her to be spotted in public after the trial, something about the story made fans a little suspicious. When the pictures first went viral, the internet had a lot of sympathy for Heard, as they said she was broke or just going through financial issues. But the inconsistencies in the way in which the footage was taken suggest that it was totally staged. In fact, Radar Online just released detailed evidence that it was faked, suggesting that it was her sister who took both the pictures and the video. So many things just don't add up. It's highly unlikely a photographer wouldn't want to take credit for taking a picture that will make headlines around the world. The footage was sold to TMZ anonymously, which is obviously pretty sketchy. But however the story came to be, it certainly brought her some positive publicity and made people feel sorry for her. Number 8. Attacking his fan base. While on NBC, Heard confessed to Savannah Guthrie that she felt less than human during the defamation trial because of the overwhelming outrage against her by Depp's fans. Quote, "Every single day I passed for 3, 4, sometimes 6 blocks, city blocks, with people holding signs saying 'Burn the witch' and 'Death to Amber.'" Now, it's pretty obvious that she's not just talking about the hundreds of protesters waiting outside the courtroom, but also her ex-husband's undeniable star power, which she attributes to the reason why he won. Quote, "He's a beloved character and people feel they know him. He's a fantastic actor." She goes on to say that when she took the stand, she saw a courtroom packed full of Captain Jack Sparrow fans, insinuating that the jury was influenced by the overwhelming voices of his fans, who only saw him as a beloved actor instead of who he really was. I mean, it's something that she should have expected. The court proceedings were broadcast live on TV, which of course attracted crowds of in-person admirers, most of whom supported Depp. Number 7. Blaming social media. Heard has also been very vocal about the role that social media played in the trial and emphasized just how much the internet supported Depp. It's true that on TikTok, people have overwhelmingly shown their support for the Pirates of the Caribbean actor. In fact, the hashtag Justice for Johnny Depp has around 20 billion views on TikTok, while hashtag Justice for Amber Heard only has 80 million. Not to mention, hashtags like Amber Heard is guilty has over 900 million views on social media. She told Guthrie, quote, "Even if you think that I'm lying, you still couldn't look me in the eye and tell me that you think on social media there's been a fair representation." Although jurors were instructed not to follow the discourse related to the trial online, even Heard's attorney, Elaine Bredhoft, said that there was a 10-day break in the case which did not help her client. The barrage of hate that Heard has received on the internet cannot really be downplayed, but by calling it unfair and lopsided, Heard's defense team is still trying to score some points with the public long after the verdict has been reached. Number 6. Therapist notes. Much has been made of the therapist notes that Heard claims would prove Depp physically attacked her. Quote, "There's a binder worth of years of notes dating back to 2011, from the very beginning of my relationship, that were taken by my doctor. After the notes were examined, it was revealed that on one of the pages, the therapist wrote that Heard claimed Depp had hit her and threw her to the floor. Another note 8 months later said that Depp had ripped her nightgown and threw her on the bed." She told Guthrie that the notes represented years and years of real-time explanations of what was going on. Even Bredhoft claimed that her client's medical records were suppressed, which she said were very significant because they showed a pattern going all the way back to 2012, where Heard was reporting domestic violence to her therapist. But if it was so significant, why wasn't it counted? Well, Judge Penny had ruled the notes as hearsay and refused to allow the evidence into the trial, which makes total sense. Number 5. Bringing up the UK trial. When referring to the UK trial that Depp lost, Heard said, quote, "There was another trial that dealt with the same substantive issues and had even more evidence in. In fact, my evidence was largely kept out." She went on to claim that because the decision was made by a jury and not by a judge, Depp's defense team was easily able to influence them. While it's true that a London court rejected Depp's defamation lawsuit, Camille Vasquez pointed to the fact that the evidence presented in the US trial far exceeded what was presented in the UK court. She also explained that it was a different process entirely, because in London, Depp's lawsuit was against The Sun, which is considered to be the biggest tabloid in the country, but his lawsuit in Virginia was against Heard directly. Vasquez added that at this time, she believes the jury got it right. While it's impossible to find out exactly which pieces of evidence were suppressed as Heard claims, she clearly does not want anyone to forget her win in the first trial. New text evidence. Heard also took issues with texts that weren't allowed into the trial. She claimed that the text messages she sent to friends and family during her relationship with Depp are evidence of the domestic violence that she suffered during their marriage. In one message, Heard claims that she sent her father in 2014, and she wrote that Depp kicked her in front of everyone during a private flight. In fact, that very incident was a subject of testimony in the couple's defamation trial. And another in 2015 read, quote, "Johnny did a number on me tonight. I'm safe and with my support tonight, but I need some real help. Can I come tomorrow? I called earlier because I thought I had a concussion and I didn't know if I should have called police." By exposing the text messages during her NBC interview, it's clear that she believes this new line of evidence is going to somehow muddy the waters of the case, even though she knows it wasn't allowed in the trial. Number 3. Evan Rachel Wood. This week, Amber Heard's best friend, Eve Barlow, compared the trial's defeat to Evan Rachel Wood's situation by saying that the Westworld actress was next. The truth is, Wood is strikingly similar to Heard in many ways, which is probably why they support each other. Like Heard, she is openly bisexual and has also claimed to have suffered domestic violence and has been physically mistreated at the hands of a powerful man. In her case, her ex-fiancé Marilyn Manson. In fact, when Heard's bisexuality was being criticized in the media and was linked to problems in her marriage, Wood quickly came to her defense on Twitter. The two cases are also connected in the way that Wood's accusations have completely derailed Manson's successful music, TV, and film career, and now he is suing her for defamation. For Heard, at least, choosing to align herself with Wood is a really good PR move, because with all things in her case considered, she has a much better chance of coming out on top and breathing life right back into the Me Too movement. Number 2. Plans to appeal. Elaine Bredhoft told Guthrie that she will absolutely be appealing the verdict reached in the defamation trial. The attorney said that her client has excellent grounds for an appeal after a jury awarded $15 million in damages to Depp and $2 million in damages to Heard. Quote, "We even had tried to get the UK judgment in to discuss his case because he already had his shot." She goes on to speak about all the evidence that was supposedly suppressed and did not come in. But a successful appeal would be a real uphill battle for the actress, as appeals are notoriously hard to win. And it wouldn't even be a new trial, but an examination of whether or not it was fair, or if any mistakes were made that changed the outcome. But Bredhoft insisted Heard's medical records were suppressed, and that a number of things were allowed in court that should not have been allowed, which caused the jury to be confused. But even if the appeal is unsuccessful, it would send a message that she's not giving up and continuing to fight. Number 1. Tell-all book. In the aftermath of the defamation trial, Heard is reportedly in talks to write a tell-all book. In fact, a source close to the star has called it more of a revenge book. Many see it as a last-ditch effort at making a little bit of money from the highly publicized case because of her dire financial situation. But the release of this book is likely going to do more than that, because sources close to the star have said that she now has nothing to lose. She's going to try and bring Depp down with her. Heard told Guthrie that she's terrified that Depp might sue her again, and for good reason. Experts believe that Depp's attorneys will be watching very carefully for anything written about the actor that could constitute defamation, and if she crosses the line, she'll end up right back in court. While Heard may not have anything to lose when it comes to her reputation, she certainly can't afford the threat of another lawsuit, so she'd have to tread very carefully in terms of what she writes about Depp, considering his attorneys will be reading every page. Thank you so much for watching. Let us know what you think in the comments below and be sure to like and subscribe.